In this video, we will talk about DiGeorge, Smith-Magenis, and Sotos syndrome. Let's start with DiGeorge syndrome. Frequency of DiGeorge syndrome is 1 out of 4,000 live births. It is one of the commonest microdeletion syndromes. Genetics of DiGeorge syndrome is deletion of 3 megabases, sometimes related to unbalanced translocation of 22q. It can be inherited as autosomal dominant inheritance. Deletion 22q11.2, which means there is deletion on chromosome 22 at arm Q of band 11.2. Management of DiGeorge syndrome is investigation for cardiac abnormality, calcium and parathyroid status, and renal anomalies, prevention of infection. Now let's discuss features of DiGeorge syndrome. Recognizable facial appearance with microdnathia. Microdnathia is when the lower jaw mandible is smaller than normal. In some cases, this can cause problems with feeding, breathing, and sleeping. And congenital short or cleft palate. Thymic hypoplasia causing T-cell deficiency. Thymic hypoplasia is a condition in which the thymus is underdeveloped, or involuted thymus is a small gland in the lymphatic system that makes and trains special white blood cells called T cells. And parathyroid hypoplasia, depressing serum calcium levels. A condition in which the parathyroid glands are larger than normal. This condition may cause the glands to make too much parathyroid hormone, which can lead to a loss of calcium from the bones, too much calcium in the blood, broken bones, and other health problems. Heart malformations, particularly of the cardiac outflow tract. About half have partial growth hormone deficiency, and 40% of adults have schizophrenia-like episodes. Lifespan of DiGeorge syndrome is that many die in their first year. You can memorize. Feature of DiGeorge syndrome. Using a mnemonic. Catch-22. Cardiac abnormalities. Abnormal facies. Thymic aplasia. Left palate. Hypocalcemia. And 22q11 deletion. Moving to Smith-Magenis syndrome. So, frequency of Smith-Magenis syndrome is greater than 1 in 25,000 live births. Genetics of Smith-Magenis syndrome is deletion 17p11.2, which means there is deletion on chromosome 17 at arm P of band 11.2, and mutations in retinoic acid-induced 1 gene. The retinoic acid-induced 1 gene provides instructions for making a protein that is active in cells throughout the body, particularly nerve cells called as neurons in the brain. Located in the nucleus of the cell, the retinoic acid-induced 1. So, etiology is haploinsufficiency of the retinoic acid-induced 1 gene, which is responsible for synthesis of a protein necessary for brain cell development. Management of Smith-Magenis syndrome is speech and hearing therapy and dietetic advice. Let's discuss features of Smith-Magenis syndrome. Small head. Mid-face hypoplasia. Mid-face hypoplasia describes a situation in which the upper jaw, cheekbones, and eye sockets have not grown as much as the rest of the face. Because of this, the eyes can seem large, appearing bulgy or bug-eyed. Also, the upper teeth usually do not meet the lower teeth well, and result in an underbite appearance. Small nose, ears low set. Ears are considered low set if the top of the ear is below the outer corners of the eyes, and of unusual shape. Initially delayed growth, but excessive weight gain in older children, despite unexceptional appetite, seizures, learning difficulties, and speech delay, most often recognized by aggressive or hyperactive, self-harming behavior, persistent disturbed sleep, and characteristic self-hugging. Congenital heart disease in a third. Scoliosis develops in late childhood in more than half. Middle ear infections and hearing impairment in 2/3. Last is Sotos syndrome. Frequency of Sotos syndrome is rare. Genetics of Sotos syndrome is 5 and 8 chromosomes translocation, with breakpoint at 5q35, and mutations in nuclear SET domain 1, gene at 5q35. So, etiology of Sotos syndrome is haploinsufficiency of the nuclear SET domain 1 gene, which is a transcription factor and regulator, 5q35, means deletion at chromosome 5 on arm Q at band 35. Management of Sotos syndrome is psychological problems related to stature. Scoliosis can develop in adolescence. Scoliosis is an abnormal lateral curvature of the spine. Now let's discuss features of Sotos syndrome. Large head with prominent forehead. Hypertelorism with outwardly down-slanting palpebral fissures. Characteristic nose in childhood and prominent chin. Usually high birth weight. Hypotonia. Hypotonia is a term that describes decreased muscle tone feeding difficulties. And motor delay and ataxia. Ataxia means without coordination. People with ataxia lose muscle control in their arms and legs. This may lead to a lack of balance, coordination, and trouble walking. Ataxia may affect the fingers, hands, arms, legs, body, speech, and even eye movements. Cerebral ventricles may appear dilated on MRI or CT scan. Children are tall with long arms, large hands and feet, and advanced bone age. You can memorize that in Sotos syndrome, there is deletion of 5q. S is resembling 5. So, this was all. Thank you for learning. Join us again.
Watch our medical videos anytime and anywhere. Download sqadia.com app now.